when they hatch, they are very different from chicken. Now, chicken, what happens is that they will crack the egg, out comes the chick and leave the shell behind. Whereas for caterpillars, they don't crack the shell. Yes, they eat the shell. They will eat a hole big enough for them to crawl out. And then when they crawl out, they will also continue eating the shell. Alright, that's why the first meal of the caterpillar is actually the eggshell. What is the first meal of the caterpillar? Eggshell. Okay, after eating the shell, do you know why they eat the shell? Hungry. Any other reason why they eat their own shell?
Legs down.
Okay, caterpillars eat the shell because of two reasons. Number one is that the shell is very nutritious. Alright, nutritious, that means very healthy, full of goodness. So they eat the shell for the goodness of themselves, so that their health will improve. So they eat the shell. And number two, by eating away the shell, they wipe away their traces. Therefore, their enemy, their predators will not be able to find them easily. That's why they eat the shell. So after eating the shell, we call them the feeding machine. Because from then on, they will only eat. Morning they eat. Afternoon they eat. Nighttime what do they do? Nighttime what do you do? So what do you think the caterpillars will do nighttime? Yes, they rest. How to eat 24 hours? They also rest at night. So between the eat and the eat, in between what do they do? They form a cocoon. No, they sheet. Caterpillars only eat, and sleep. That's all they do. So when they eat a lot, the skin do not grow with them. And if the skin do not grow with them, what do they do? What do they do with the skin? If the skin cannot grow with them? Yes? Dexter? What do you think what will happen to the skin? They shed the skin. Correct. So shed, that means they lose their skin. This process of losing their skin, entering into a new phase in the life cycle of this butterfly, we call it instar. I-N-S-T-A-R. So every caterpillar will go through 4 to 5 instar, which means that they will lose their skin 4 to 5 times. So once they lose their skin, what do they do with the skin? Anyone knows what do they do with the skin? Don't know? Throw away? No? What do they do? The skin can grow? What do you do with the skin? No? What do they? Yes, they eat it. Correct. They are all very environmental friendly. They do not throw away the skin. So what do they do with the skin? Eat it. Correct. And then from then on, after the 5th instar, what do? They actually crawl to a branch. Sometimes a branch, sometimes it can be another space or another place. And what do? They actually overturn. Use their body length to measure. If that place is sufficient for them to become a butterfly, then they will attach themselves there. If they cannot find a place that is big enough for them to become a butterfly, they will keep hunting. So once they find the correct place, from the abdomen, they will secrete a little bit of a glue-like substance, and then they will attach themselves head down, lose that last layer of skin. When a new layer of skin comes in contact with the air, it will harden into a casing, and that will become a pupa. Now this class mentioned a lot about cocoon. In butterfly, we cannot use the word cocoon to describe the pupa stage. The correct word is chrysalis. Why not cocoon? Because when you say cocoon, it means that this caterpillar must spin a new material to cover themselves. Use a new material to cover themselves during the pupa stage. Then we call them a cocoon. A very apt example would be your silkworm. Silkworm actually spins silk to cover themselves, a new material. Then you call it a cocoon. Whereas for butterflies, you don't use the word cocoon. You use chrysalis. Okay, what's the word again?
Chrysalis.
Common term is pupa. Alright? Because they do not spin a new material to cover themselves. It is their own skin. When it comes into contact with air, it hardens. That's why we call it a chrysalis or pupa. During the pupa stage, they do not move, they do not eat, but what do? They actually go through a transformation. From a caterpillar, they actually transform into a beautiful butterfly. This full transformation, total change in the outlook, we call it metamorphosis. Alright? So once the whole process is done, what happens is that the casing of the pupa will crack, and then which part of the body of the butterfly comes out first? Head, correct. After the head, then what else? Body, and then? Wings. Okay, the head will come out, then followed by the thorax, and then the abdomen. So when they come out, what happens is that the wings are all crumpled. Very good. How do they spread it out? Dry. How do they spread it out before they dry? Shake. No. The fluid from the abdomen actually will be squeezed into this wing to spread them out. Once they are spread out, they are wet. So what must they do? They must dry it. Only after drying and hardening, then they are able to fly. Alright? So once they are able to fly, there's only two things that they do. The first thing is that they will look for food. Do you know what does the butterfly feed on? Yes? Nectar. Besides nectar, what else do they feed on? Who else knows? Insects. Alright. From the metamorphosis, the mandibles, the chewable teeth-like structure, is changed into a straw-like tongue. This straw-like tongue, we call it proboscis. They can only pick up liquid food. So nectar is one of them. Besides nectar, they also pick up liquid food. Liquid food like what? Like water. Honey cannot. You can't find honey on the plant. What else? They can also feed on fruit juice, tree sap. You know the bird poo, there's also the liquid part? They also feed on that liquid. Anything liquid, they can feed on. So besides looking for food, the other thing that the butterflies do is actually to look for a boyfriend or girlfriend. How do they look for a boyfriend or girlfriend? See, butterflies do not crossbreed. A blue butterfly will only look for a blue butterfly. So when they fly, blue and blue. Bird cannot fly. Blue and blue. Can be my boyfriend maybe. Yes, yeah. So how does this blue butterfly look for a blue butterfly? This butterfly, when they fly, they let off a smell. We call it pheromone. This pheromone will attract the same species of butterfly. So a blue butterfly will never look for a yellow butterfly, will also never look for a green butterfly. But a blue will look for a blue butterfly. Alright. So once they like each other, then they will mate. So after mating, then it is up to the female butterfly to lay the eggs. So when the female butterflies flies around, how do they know which plant to lay the eggs? They are very host specific, which means that they only lay on particular plants. So how does the female butterfly know that is the correct plant? So when they fly, the legs, they land on the plant. The hairs on the legs will pick up sensors from the plant whether that is the correct plant. If that is the correct plant, then they will lay their eggs. And that will become the life cycle, the full life cycle already, Yes.